Hello everybody and welcome back to what very well may be a recurring series on this channel. This right here is another e-waste rescue that I picked up recently, and it's a mostly uninteresting Dell OptiPlex 3020. I'm sure if you've been in school or working at an office job in the past, probably 10 years or so, 15 years, you've probably seen a computer like this. These machines are very common in those environments. And the really interesting thing about this one in particular, and one of the reasons I picked it up, is because it looks to be brand new, if not almost brand new. You see on the front here, I don't know how well you can see it, but the plastic wrap is still not removed from the front label. You see it runs all the way down here, which isn't necessarily an indication that it's never been used before. I mean, somebody could have just forgotten to take this off or not noticed it. But aside from that, it's in really good cosmetic condition. There aren't really any major scratches or dents. There are a few of them. You got a nick back here. There's a little scratch here on the top. But I actually think that might be just from this being at the e-waste facility, because I found this at the bottom of a bin. There was like a bunch of, monitors and printers and stuff on top of it. I'm sure it was just thrown in there. Probably wasn't handled very delicately. So yeah, that very well could be where these scratches came from. But if we flip it around to the back here, I'll just show you the port selection. This runs Windows 8 Pro, or at least that's what it originally shipped with. Actually, at this point, it's probably Windows 8.1 Pro, because it has a manufacture date on the side here of May 2015, which is like right around the tail end of when computers would be shipping with Windows 8.1. Because Windows 10 came out a few months later, and of course all the OEMs started putting that on their computers instead. So what we're going to do today is we're obviously going to power this thing on and see what's on the hard drive. But before we do that, I'm going to just open up the panel here. We'll see what hardware we have inside of it. Probably do some hardware upgrades as well. Because what I want to use this computer for is turn it into my garage PC. Because, I've got a workbench out there and everything, and it would be nice to have a computer that I could mainly use to look stuff up and watch a, YouTube video every now and then, maybe a tutorial video on how to fix something, that sort of thing. And we're gonna, I think, install a Linux distro, probably Ubuntu, we'll see. But let's go ahead and just open it up. We'll see what hardware we've got in here. Now, I looked this up. This thing, I believe, shipped with a, it has an i5 in here. I believe it's a 4th gen i5, and I think we've got 2 gigabytes of RAM in here as well. Alright, right off the bat, it looks like we've got everything here. So we've got the RAM there. We do have a hard drive under here. The optical drive is still here. And we're just gonna, first of all, let me take out this RAM stick and see. I'm guessing this is just a single 2 gigabyte module. Oh, look at that, it's actually 4 gigabytes. I did look this up again. Dell says that the minimum memory that can be put in the system is 2 gigabytes. It's not necessarily what it would have shipped with. And I think, for a Windows 8 system, 4 gigabytes sounds like that's probably a more reasonable amount to ship one of these systems with from the factory. So I do have some replacement RAM where you can get this up to 8 gigs. The only other RAM I had, aside from a bunch of 1 gigabyte DDR3 sticks, I've got this gaming, G-Skill Ripjaws. These are both 4 gig modules. So we'll pop these in. Actually, we'll just leave this out for now just in case we need to take the RAM out to, get to the hard drive. Because I do kind of want to just disassemble this thing and, take a look at how it's put together. Because these, small form factor desktops like this really fascinate me for some reason. I don't know why. I just think they're really cool. And, this isn't the smallest. I mean, Dell had, an ultra small form factor that was, really tiny compared to this thing. And the really nice thing about these systems is they were typically very easy to work on because, these were designed for use in a professional environment where you would have an IT person going around making, repairs to these things every so often. So it looks like the disk drive here, I think we just have to pull up this back tab, and yeah, the whole thing just slides out right like that. We're just going to disconnect these cables here. So there we go. We got that disconnected. We'll set it aside. Looks like we have a Seagate hard drive here. Let's just flip this around so I can actually read the drive label. 500 gig drive, not too bad. We are just going to leave the hard drive in here for now. I am going to put an SSD in here because I've got one that'll fit in here, but we're just going to see what's on this hard drive first before we do that. And you got the CPU cooler here. We might as well, you know, take this off and repaste the CPU. That doesn't seem like a bad idea, right? Let's see here if that did it. Yeah, that, well, almost. I think we just got to unscrew this one here a little bit more. So we got that out, and I've got some isopropyl here to clean up the old thermal paste, which we'll do shortly. But just look at how clean it is in here. Like, there's no dust at all, which is just really incredible. There's a little bit of dust on the CPU cooler assembly, like right here. But, I mean, I'm just really like, this is incredible. This thing very well may have just never been used before. In fact, when we power it on and boot from the hard drive, if Windows goes through like its first boot stuff and, you know, asks you for your username and all that kind of stuff to set up your account for the first time, that's probably another indication that this could have just never been used. Although, again, not necessarily. It could have just been, you know, restored to factory settings, and I mean, maybe this thing was just really well taken care of, but I'm really thinking that it was just probably, if it was used, it wasn't used very much. Certainly as much as like an office or a school computer would get used. So I'm just going to go ahead and get some isopropyl here. And this will also allow us to see the CPU model, which this is an i5. I believe it's a 4th gen i5. But we'll get the exact model number here. Yep, that is a 4th generation i5, 4590, 3.3 gigahertz, 4 cores and 4 threads. So yeah, pretty decent little CPU here. So we're just gonna pretty much pop this right back in. And now for the CPU cooler. And we will of course put just the right amount of thermal paste on this CPU. And gee, that extra RAM casing on these modules made it, this is a really tight fit in here. Alright, so we're all set, we've got everything plugged in, and we're just gonna power the system on and see if she boots. Well, it looks like it's in Spanish, that's certainly interesting, and it's doing, I think this is all first boot stuff that it's doing right now. Yeah, this is just asking you to name your PC, so I'm just gonna call this Garage PC. So something very cool I just noticed is the system has speakers built in. I don't have the monitor speakers hooked up, so that is coming from the computer, so that's nice. Yeah, not surprisingly, whoever bought these machines from Dell opted to get Windows 7 installed on them instead of Windows 8. So yeah, this was very common. Same thing happened with Windows Vista, actually. When Windows Vista was out, you had a bunch of, you know, professional computers still ship with XP because even some home computers, actually, because of how unpopular Vista was. But yeah, I do want to go into the control, or not control panel, but this is system, isn't it? Yeah, we're just going to properties and just double check that it's got, yeah, we got 8 gigabytes of RAM. There's our i5 4590, 3.3 gigahertz. And the hard drive should show up as a basically a 500 gigabyte drive. Yeah, so there it is. So, yeah, like I said, I am going to put Linux on this thing. I think I'm just going to go with stock Ubuntu, you know, because why not? Because leaving Windows 7 on this thing is not ideal, putting Windows 8 on it is not ideal, Windows 10 is going to be out of support in almost a year, and this thing cannot officially run Windows 11, and I just would rather put Linux on it anyways, so we're going to put Linux on it. But before we do that, we're going to put an SSD in this thing. I got this old Crucial 500 gigabyte SSD that I think I got at a garage sale or something for a couple bucks. So we have to remove the disk drive again. We'll take this out and we'll see if we can just leave it connected and just kind of move it over here. And I think this entire chassis comes out. Yep, there was a little lock down there that we had to remove and pull out the drive. I think this does it just pop up like... Yeah, I think this is literally just kind of holding it in like that. So yeah, we just pop it out, and now we can just take this and make sure we have it in the right orientation and lock it into here. Well, hey, that's nice. I got a SATA hard drive out of the deal that I can use for something else, maybe another system, who knows. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and slide in our SSD, and we'll connect it up. And just to show you this locking mechanism up close, because I think it's kind of clever, you just press the drive cage down over this screw here, and you slide it to lock it in place, and that ain't going anywhere. And now, of course, we just take our DVD drive and put that back on top, and make sure it actually lines up, and push it forward, and we're all good to go. Well, after we put the side panel on. Alrighty, so I'm assuming this thing supports USB booting, but I guess we're going to find out. I'm going to enter the BIOS anyways. So I think that's F2. It might be delete. You know, it changes between all these OEMs. Oh yeah, it looks like it is F2. Okay. We want USB to be at the very top, so we'll apply that. And oh, the date's off. Yeah, I didn't even look at the system tray when we were booted into Windows 7. So today is July 31st, 2024. And there we go. Try or install Ubuntu. Let's get on with it. And here we go. We are about to start the installation process. So, gosh, I just really love Ubuntu's UI. It's just really nice looking. So yeah, accessibility, all that stuff, English US, that's fine. Now, I might as well plug this thing into my network so that it can, you know, install updates and everything during the installation process. So let me grab an Ethernet cable. So just like that, it's detected our wired connection. Sure, we'll get the update for the installer. This is why it's good to have this thing connected while you're going through setup. All right, we'll close the installer, and I assume it's not going to launch it automatically for us, so we'll just launch it here. Okay, so English, yes, English US, use wired connection, and we don't have the autoinstall.yaml file, so we'll just do the interactive installation. And let's see, why not? We got plenty of space. Let's get the extended selection. And definitely install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi, and sure, we'll get the support for additional media formats. And we are going to erase this disk and install Ubuntu. And I think, yeah, we don't need any of these advanced features, so we should be fine. And it's got our installation disk selected. That's great. We should be good to go. And after yet another restart, we are all good to go. We are here in Ubuntu 2404 LTS. And it's just really nice to get this installed. It's honestly been a little bit since I installed Ubuntu on some just plain old stock Ubuntu. So I don't know, why don't we go in here, and it's been a while since I've looked in the App Store too, or the App Center, or whatever they call it. Yeah. So let's just see what they've got in here. I'm going to definitely try to grab... Is there a Classic Cube in here, I wonder? It is in here. So we're going to definitely grab that, because I'd like to just, you know, see how this thing kind of handles a game being thrown at it. So yeah, what other games do they have on here? This is going to kind of turn into a, you know, performance test video of like, how well does X game run on this computer from 2015? Space Cadet Pinball? No way! Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, this is what did it say? A reverse engineering of 3D pinball for Windows. That is awesome. I didn't even realize that was in here. I know that, well, I mean, Space Cadet Pinball did get ported to like a whole bunch of other platforms, including the Wii. I did a video on that a couple years ago. But yeah, I did not realize it was in the Ubuntu App Center, so that's kind of neat. I did want to change the desktop wallpaper. In fact, let me open up Firefox here, and I'm going to go to my Flickr page. The only photo still that I have on Flickr is my Bliss photograph when I actually went to the hill. I know you guys are probably tired of me talking about this, but I did do a whole video on the Bliss wallpaper if you haven't seen it. It's definitely one of my favorite videos that I've ever made. And yeah, we can just set his background right from here, and there we go. So we got that set. Let's run Space Cadet Pinball. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. So this is, this whole side panel and everything here is from the full version of the game, which is called Full Tilt Pinball. Though I wonder if there is like, because I saw on the screenshots there were like, I think under graphics, or maybe you can change that. Okay, I figured it out. In the menu, you go into Game Data and then Prefer 3D PB Data, and that will swap over to the, you know, 3D pinball interface here. So, yeah, it does like resize the resolution as well, but if you just maximize the window, it will, you know, bring it into full screen. Though there is actually a full screen mode as well. Well, maybe not. It still, you know, doesn't just take up the entire screen. Oh no, there it is. Okay, it just didn't do it the first time. So yeah, you do have a full screen mode. That's nice. and then we can go back in here and swap to just the full tilt table. And yeah, it's just, man, it is really cool to see this game ported to, you know, not just Linux. I mean, there are a bunch of other platforms, like I said, on that GitHub page. It's super cool. Yeah, such an iconic game. So we're just gonna exit out of that. It's nice that you have like that menu and everything. You can just do a bunch of stuff. I saw there was some cheats you can enable as well right from there, which is super cool. So here's Classic Cube, which I did a video on this a while back. The coolest thing about this is that it can run on older platforms like Windows 9X, and you know, of course, it runs on modern systems just fine. So I mean, yeah, it's a real good looking clone of Minecraft. So runs totally fine. You see we're getting like 74 FPS, totally smooth. And you know, I could actually bring, I mean, again, this is, I always try to say this in these videos, these are not like definitive, you know, Gamers Nexus level tests of like the exact performance you can expect from this system. Because first of all, you know, I don't know how many people are going to buy. I mean, I got this thing as it was free. I would not have bought this system, like, you know, seek it out. Maybe there's someone who's like really into these systems and is going to, you know, collect it. But I would imagine you probably are pretty well aware of the performance of it if you're one of those people. But yeah, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was opening up like the task manager equivalent, whatever that is. Actually, we can just go into terminal. Do we got HTOP on here? Well, we can install, I mean, we have top, I'm sure, but I do want htop because I just like it. It looks better. So we'll sudo apt install htop, and we'll run htop. There we go. Doesn't that look nice? So we'll maybe minimize this here. Really all we care about is just the performance graphs there. So we'll shrink our Classic Cube window a little bit. Maybe not. Just have it like this. And so yeah, you can see, looks like, oh, I thought it said we had 68 gigs of RAM. I didn't see the 7 there is in like a different font and everything. So it's like, what's it talking about? But yeah, so 7.68 gigs, and we're using not even 2 of that, which is pretty nice. And the CPU levels are extremely manageable too. Of course, we are running this, you know, in a smaller window, so that's certainly going to impact performance as well. But we're still getting about 75 FPS. But yeah, this just really takes me back, because this is how Minecraft looked back when, you know, the game was in its infancy. And it's just kind of cool to throw this game on every once in a while. And yeah, it'll run totally fine on this machine. You can see, like I said, CPU doing just fine, memory usage just fine. I mean, this thing can run on my old Windows 98 computer too, so it's not like you need the most capable modern machine to play Classic Cube here. But yeah, there you have it. That is a brief overview of this Dell OptiPlex 2030, or not 2030, 3020. Not the most interesting machine in the world, but I hope I was able to make this video interesting for you. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early access to these videos before anybody else. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.